Hello people, I'm the Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Episode 2, sadly. Let's go with the sniper. The worst prequel, in my opinion. That's saying something, because Episode 1 was pretty bad. Episode 2, man, it made Episode 1 look almost Oscar-worthy. At least in my opinion. It was so bad. Like, you can solve, like, I would say each prequel has one word to solve each of them. Like, the first, episode 1 would be politics. Episode 2, romance. Episode 3, I'll talk about that when I get to episode 3. Politics and romance are two things you don't want to be said that describe your entire movie when it comes to Star Wars. Like, oh man, if you had to wrap up the new Star Wars movie in one word, what would that word be? Politics. Romance. It's like, wait, what? Like, it's seriously, episode 2 was supposed to be the redemption. It was like, okay, episode 1, there was still some hope because of the fact that, you know, Darth Maul was awesome. We got some cool saber battles. Okay, there was just way too much talking and downtime and just boringness, and the midichlorians were stupid. But there was still some hope. It was a bad movie, but there's still some hope. Episode 2 came along, I was like, okay, there's no Jar Jar. Let's see about this new Anakin kid. Anakin was terrible. Like, the acting was terrible, the dialogue for him was terrible, everything about Anakin was terrible. It's like, this guy's gonna grow up to be Darth Maul? Really? Like, he was whinier than when he was a little kid. When he was a little kid, he had a right to be whiny. Because you gotta think about it, in episode 1, he's being taken away from his friends and family to become a Jedi, and, like, that's kind of big. Even though I hated Anakin in episode 1, he was terrible, the actor was terrible, the lines were terrible, I hated him. But he at least had a right to be whiny. This is a little kid being taken away from his only family member, his mother. It makes sense. Episode 2, he's now like 20. He's like all grown up. But he whines even more than when he was a little kid. And about trivial stuff too, like, Obi-Wan's holding you back. It's like, really? You're gonna whine about, it's so bad. Then the villain didn't even compare to Darth Maul. Like, I mean, Darth Maul was the best part of the prequels, obviously. Like, he was the best part of episode 1. He was amazing because he didn't talk very much, so he didn't really have to speak the crappy George Lucas dialogue, and that just made him so awesome. The fact that he was this silent dude that was still very, like, he still had the ability to kick some butt, and he was very hands-on. He got the job done. Even though he got killed by an apprentice, he killed the master, who you could say was arguably better. That's awesome. He did something. What does Count Dooku do? Takes off Anakin's arm. He gets his butt kicked by Yoda, and let me tell you, that Yoda fight, so disappointing. That Yoda fight was like, oh my gosh. It's like, okay, finally we're gonna see Yoda fight. This guy's supposed to be like the most powerful Jedi ever. He fights, and it's like, what? Count Dooku matches him in the Force skill because they're having this whole Force thing. It's like, okay, Yoda's toying with him. Okay, let's see Yoda bring out the big guns. Wait, what? What? How's this guy so powerful? How's this guy up to Yoda's standards? Because, you know, Yoda had talked about before how, you know, it's not all about the lightsaber. He was all more about the Force. It's like, okay, if Yoda's going hands-on, he's gonna kick some butt. Nope, he jumps around like a stupid frog. And the lightsaber battle was so lame. I was so disappointed by that. And again, like I was talking about earlier, because I'm just jumping all around with this, because it's just scatterbrained. Like I was talking about earlier, the romance in this movie is atrocious and terrible, because Natalie Portman, who became a good actress after the prequels, was terrible in this. And now some people may be like, well, it was the George Lucas dialogue. Ewan McGregor. Look at Ewan McGregor. He has to speak some terrible dialogue, but he is still a good actor. You can tell that. Same with Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson is a great actor, and you can still tell it, even though he's having to say this crappy George Lucas dialogue. He's still a good actor. But with Natalie Portman, no, she was terrible. She's absolutely terrible. Like, she was wooden. Hayden Christensen was the only one that did worse than her. Like, I don't know what made George Lucas think, you know what? That guy is Darth Vader. I could see that guy becoming Darth Vader one day. Because the audience sure as heck couldn't tell that. I don't know what George Lucas saw in him. Because at least the first one, besides, like, Anakin, the casting, well, no. Like, Obi-Wan was good casting. Qui-Gon was good casting. And this, it's just like, and then they destroy, again, I'm jumping everywhere, but they destroyed Boba Fett. Gave him, like, well, he was already destroyed. Boba Fett, like, George Lucas's whole goal was just to destroy Boba Fett as much as he could, it seemed. Because, like, Boba Fett he at least did something, as much as people want to be like, oh, he never did anything. He captured Han. With the help of the Empire, like their resources, he was still able to be like a decent strategist and capture Han. And he held his own for like a minute against Luke in Return of the Jedi. So he at least did something, Boba Fett. And this, they're like, hey, guess what? He's a clone. It's like, wait, what? He's a clone? Apparently there was some Elseworlds, not Elseworlds, but there was some book to where, he was apparently like this ex-cop, like this real awesome dude. Where the heck's the... Okay, there it is. I don't know why I was clicking around so much. But yeah, apparently he's like some ex-cop that was like really cool, didn't go by the rules, and people said he had a really cool origin. And then George Lucas is like, nah, he's a clone of some random New Zealand dude who's supposed to be some awesome bounty hunter, yet he hires other bounty hunters to do his job. Because that's how awesome he is. Maybe that's how Boba Fett got to where he was, because Boba Fett didn't do a whole lot in the originals. Maybe that's how he used his dad's tactics. He hired everyone else to do it. Man, I'm doing terrible. He's hired everyone else to do his hits. That beginning was so disappointing. Like, it opens up with all that crap about, you know, we need to protect Padme and everything, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna see some. Oh my gosh, I'm getting murdered. We're gonna see some deadly bounty hunters. Nope, worms through a window. It's like, you really couldn't have just broken through the window and shot her? Like, you may have been killed by Jedi, but it's better than getting murdered by... than getting murdered by, Jango later on. I mean, there are very, very few good parts to this movie. There are some good actors in it, just again, they're crappy dialogue and like some crappy characters. Like Christopher Lee, he's good as Count Dooku, but Count Dooku's a terrible character. I don't like Count Dooku. I think he's a terrible villain. Especially compared to Darth Maul. Like, I think Count Dooku is a crappy villain. Because he is. But the few good parts happen right here on Kamino. The fight between Obi-Wan and Jango is really awesome. I love that fight. It was so cool. It was like really well done, and Kamino is just a cool planet. I love all the platforms and the rain and like how it's surrounded by water. I thought it was a really cool planet. Like George Lucas, that's one thing. He still had creativity when it came to planets, even if they were all CGI. He still had some really cool planets, like we see later on with Mustafar and Kashyyyk and stuff. And like I love the Naboo themed hangar. I thought that was really cool in Episode 1. Like he still knew how to design planets, just all CG. And Kamino showed that, and that was a really awesome fight. And then in the beginning, where Obi-Wan's talking to that dude, and he's like, you want some death sticks? And he's like, you do not want to sell me death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life. I was like, oh, that's cool. Jedi mind tricks at their best. But that's like it. That's all that I can say. That's good. And when the Jedi first show up in the arena was disappointing as well, because the arena should have been awesome. It's like Jedi without their lightsabers, just their force and their wits, set in this arena, having to go against these like exotic alien animals. That's awesome, but nope. Turned out it was really lame. Just an excuse for Padme to, you know, get her clothing ripped off. With I wasn't exactly mad about. Natalie Portman is very good looking. Which you won't hear a lot of people say. Like whenever they're talking about the prequels, they just start hating on it. But hey, I'm not mad about that fact. It's just the fact that it was so lame. Like there was, like, let's go hunt this droid down. Oh no, I'm almost dead. There's the ending. But yeah, like the Coliseum part should have been so cool, but it sucked. The ending fight should have been cool, but it sucked. It started out a little intense between Obi-Wan and Anakin. It was a bit intense how like he hit him with the lightning and then Obi-Wan was blocking. It's like, okay, Obi-Wan's going against this guy who's way out of his league, but he's contending with him. Also, whoever thought of giving Obi-Wan a mullet should just an idiot. I don't know why they thought of giving him a mullet. The final battle between Count Dooku and Yoda was terrible. It's just Ewan McGregor still is the best part of this movie. He's amazing. So yeah, my game just crashed. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like.